Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements and welcome to another episode where today we're going to be analysing the S&P 500 followed by the Nasdaq100 and the Dow Jones30. But let's get started here with the S&P 500. Now we currently find ourselves trading at 4,397. And, last week was a kind of a roller coaster. We had lots of volatility throughout the week. Of course, it's a shortened trading week, so they can always be a little bit unpredictable. But we pretty much ended the week where we started, which is around this 4,400 area. What I like about this setup is that we continue to create a series of higher highs and higher lows, which, tells us that we're in an uptrend. So I don't really see a reason as to why we need to fall 5-10% like a few analysts are coming out and saying. Of course we have some major support here at the 0.618 fib area, which sits at around 4,340. If we were to break below that, then we have the 50-day EMA. But if we were to take out the 50-day EMA, that's when of course you could argue for a move down towards 4,200. I think 4,200 is going to act as a very high level of support. It's clear that in previous months we've really struggled to break above this area apart from August last year. But back in May 2022, of course we tested it back in February, and then we retested it for a third time back in May 2023, and then we ultimately broke above it. So I think that that's going to act as a very major area of support going forward. So I like the S&P 500 here. I think ultimately we're going to go and try and trade up towards 4,500, 4,550. On Wednesday, we have the CPI inflation report, which is going to be very interesting because for the first time in almost over a year, we are expected to get inflation to come in with a free handle, as the estimates are at 3.1%. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the market reacts to that inflation figure, which is expected to come down significantly. Just before I move on to the Nasdaq100, I just want to quickly take you to a 2-hour time frame here for the S&P 500. It's still, in my humble opinion, that we are still trading within this 5-wave Elliott pattern, Elliott structure, I should say. Of course, we've had this, this large second to third move, which took us all the way up towards the swing highs here around 4,460. But in my opinion, I think that we are in the process of back testing this first level. If anyone studied the levels of Elliott wave, the fourth wave shouldn't be underneath the top of the first, if that makes sense. So I think that right now we're in the process of starting to form this fourth to fifth innings, and with that being the case, I think that we are expected to see a new 2023 high here for the S&P 500 because we bounced rather nicely respecting the top of that first wave, if that makes sense. So I do like this setup, and it's very similar to one that we're seeing over here in the Nasdaq100. Here is this this 5-wave Elliott wave structure. Again, the fourth innings has respected the top of the first, and I believe that we are destined to trade a little bit higher here for the Nasdaq100, where we go and hit the 0.786 fib area. This is on the daily chart, of course, with a peak to trough bear market that occurred last year. Of course, this is a fib retracement drawn from that decline. So I do believe that we are likely to go and test 15,400 here for the Nasdaq100. I think it's important to understand that we are soon entering into a soft seasonal period, which runs pretty much from the 21st of July all the way through until around the beginning of October, late September. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some soft market returns, or perhaps maybe even some negative returns over the next month or two as we do work our way through the month of August and September, where there is typically low liquidity in the market, hence low volatility. And when you have that low amounts of volatility, it's not abnormal to get these very slow, subtle moves towards the downside. It's nothing really aggressive, but just some slow backfilling that may occur in the markets, especially after one of the strongest starts to a year in over 40 years here for the Nasdaq100 in particular. But currently find ourselves trading at 15,000. I wouldn't be surprised if we did go and break above the swing highs of last week, which sits at around 15,250, and then that of course opens up the door to 15,400. And I expect this move to occur around about that CPI data release, which is on Wednesday, of course, where we are expected to see inflation come in for the first time in 12 months at 3%. Then moving over to the Dow Jones30, it's all about this 50-day EMA, which is the red line on your screens. It continues to offer support here, and I believe that buyers will continue to step back in. I think that a positive move here takes us back up towards the swing highs that we achieved last week, up around 34,400. If we can break above this double top here for the Dow Jones 30, that really then does open up a door for a move up towards 35,000. I do like this indice. Of course, it's massively underperformed compared to the Nasdaq100 and the S&P 500 so far this year. But I feel like investors who feel that they've missed a move over in the tech space, for example, they're looking now to put money to work because, to some degree, they've kind of experienced some FOMO this year. You've got the markets that are up significantly and they've been sat in cash or perhaps in government bonds on the sidelines, where now they're probably looking at places to come back in and reinvest their money. And I think, the more cyclical names, the defensive names, energy, the financial stocks, they all offer great value at current prices, and I think that the Dow Jones 30 may find a bid here. So, technically speaking, I'm looking for a break back above 34,500. If we do get that, then in my own humble opinion, that opens up the door towards a 0.786 fib area. It's of course, a 2022 bear market peak to trough fib area that I've drawn there, and that sits at around 35,150. So that's the type of move that I'm looking for here in the Dow Jones 30. Guys, if you would like to join my free trading signal group where you can copy my own personal trades as well as read my free daily market movements research, my free daily market research, I should say, that I post every single morning in my signal group just prior to the US markets opening, then make sure you scan this QR code on your screen. It will take you to my website where you can subscribe. It takes 5 seconds to get involved and it's completely free.